Hello everyone, Andie-Gurumi here, and in these video tutorials I'll be showing you how to make your very own Amigurumi Ekans Pokemon. So here he is. Isn't he cute? I love how he came out. So in this pattern you'll be able to open his mouth, you add his eyes and his details, his yellow patch, his black stripes, his yellow belly, and inside I have placed wire so you can put him in different positions, so you can curl him up, stand him up, try and get him in as many positions as you wish. And here's his rattle at the end, and it's entirely up to you. You can add rattles inside. I haven't done with this one, but it'd be quite easy just to place them inside, so it's entirely up to you. So here he is, and he's about 34 inches long. So like so, if I just show you with the wire, see, you can curl it round. Anyway, instead of just carrying on waffling, let's get started with how to make him. So these will be the materials that we'll be using to make our Ekans with. So these 3 balls of yarn at the back here are all from Stylecraft and their special DK. This one's powder pink, this one's violet, and that one on the end is Dandelion. And this one here, the red, is from Woolcraft, shade 132. And this black here is just Cygnet DK, just normal black. So we have some toy stuffing that we'll be stuffing our Ekans with. Your scissors, your tapestry or darning needle, your stitch markers, your wire cutters, and your floral wire and tape, and this is gauge 26. And just at the bottom here is your 3.5mm crochet hook, like so. So these are all the materials that we're using to make our Ekans, so let's move on. Okay, so we'll be starting with our purple yarn or violet, so like so, and you start with your slip knot, so make it whichever way you're comfortable, but if I just show you quick, so I twist it round, put your thumb in, grab that tail that your index finger and your thumb's holding on your other hand, let that loop fall over and pull, like so. So you get your crochet hook and you place it in, pull that starting tail to tighten up a little bit. So now you hold your yarn and you start with a chain 2, so that's 1, 2, so chain 2, and then you place 6 single crochets inside that starting chain. So you place your hook inside, wrap round when it wants to, then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Just placing 6 single crochets in that starting chain, like so. So that is round 1, just placing your 6 single crochets in that starting chain. So round 2, and we'll be placing 2 single crochets in the 6 single crochets from the previous round. And I've got my stitch marker as well because I do like using them. And please excuse my thumb, the nail broke yesterday, so it's really stumpy at the minute. Right, so just find your first stitch, and it's always a bit of a pain, this first one. Oh, they behaved today. So you place 1, and I like to place my stitch marker inside. That very first one, like so. So now you place another single crochet in that same stitch. So that's 2. Let me get some more yarn. And here we go. So into that second stitch, place 1, 2, and you keep doing that in all the stitches from the previous round. Like so. So at the end of this round you should have 12 stitches. And in this last stitch, 2 single crochet, like so. There. So at the end of that round you should have 12 stitches, and if you want to pull your starting tail just to close up, so it's nice and sealed. So this is the end of round 2, and you should have 12 stitches. Round 3, and in this round we will be just placing 1 single crochet in every single stitch. So very straightforward. So that was 1, now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Just like that. So you were just placing 1 single crochet in every single stitch. Round 4, and in this round it's an increase round. So what we'll be doing is going into the first one, place your single crochet, oh, come here, mark it, and then in the second stitch place 2 single crochets in the same stitch, like so, and then in the next stitch 1 single crochet, and in the following stitch 2 single crochet in the same stitch. So you just keep doing that for the rest of the round, just doing 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochet in the following stitch. And then in our last 2 stitches, 1 single crochet and 2 single crochet in the next one, like so. So now you should have 18 stitches at the end of that round. So that's the end of round 4. Right, so round 5, and it will be also for round 6. So we'll be just placing single crochets in every single stitch for round 5 and 6. So nice and easy. So just placing your single crochets in every single stitch. So you keep doing that for the rest of this round, just placing your single crochets in every single stitch. And you also do that for the next round as well, so that's 5 and 6, and I'll meet you at the end of round 6. So I've only got 2 more stitches left of this round, so that is just placing your single crochets, 1 and 2. Like so. You should still have 18 stitches at the end of that round. So this is how my work is looking at the end of round 6, and now we'll be moving on to round 7. Right, so round 7, and it's a little bit different. So what we'll be doing is, in that first stitch we'll be placing 2 single crochets, so that stitch right there. So place your first single crochet and place your stitch marker if you're using one, like so, and then place another in the same stitch, and place another 2 single crochets in the following stitch, and then again in the following stitch, and in that last stitch again. So in 4 stitches you place 2 single crochets, like so. So you should have 8 stitches there. So in the 4 stitches from the start you place 2, like so, and then the rest of this round is just placing your single crochets. So that's the only different bit of this round, and now it's just nice and easy, just placing single crochets. Okay, so I've got 3 stitches left, and just place your single crochets. Like so. There we go. So at the end of that round you should have 22 sorry about that. You should have 22 stitches at the end of that round. So now we'll be moving on to round 8. Round 8, and this round will be the same for the following round and the next round. So that's 8, 9 and 10. And once again we will be just placing 1 single crochet in every single stitch for this round, the next round and the following round. So I'll do a couple with you. So nice and straightforward. Like so. So you just keep doing that for this round, the next round and the following round. So that's round 8, 9 and 10, and I'll meet you at the end of round 10. Okay, so I've got 3 stitches left, and I like to finish this round with you all. So just doing your single crochets in each stitch, like so. So this is how my work is looking, like that. So this is the top of Ekans' head, like so, and his jaw will go here in a minute. So I hope your work looks similar to mine. So that is the end of round 10, and what we're going to do now, cut a bit of a tail like that. So now we will be making his jaw next. Okay, so we'll be making the jaw now. So like normal, I'll put my hook there for now. Make your slip knot. Like so. Get my hook again. And pop in, tighten up, and then place 2 chains like so, then place 6 single crochets in that first chain, so second chain from the hook, Come on. There. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just like that. So that was round 1, and you were just placing 6 single crochets in that starting chain, and now be moving on to round 2 for your jewel. Round 2, and it's an increase round, so we will be placing up 2 single crochets in each stitch. It's always that first one that can be a bit of a pain, so just try and help it on. There. So I've got another stitch marker now. I do like using them. So that's 1, and then in the same stitch another 1. So there's 2, then in the following stitch 1, 2, and 3, 2 single crochet, and your 4th stitch, 2 single crochet, the 5th, so just putting your 2 single crochets in each stitch, like so. Then tighten up your starting tail, like so. So you should have 12 stitches at the end of that round, and now we'll be moving on to round 3. Round 3, and we'll be placing our single crochets in every single stitch, and that will be for round 3, 4, 5 and 6. So it's nice and easy. Just placing your single crochets in every single stitch for the next 4 rounds. So I'll make a start with you all. Just going into every single stitch. Like so. So you keep doing that, just placing your single crochets for the rest of this round and the next 3 rounds. So I will meet you at the end of round 6. So remember that this is round 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll see you in a minute. So this is how my work is looking so far, and I'm just near the end of round 6, and my last 2 stitches, 1, 2. So this is how my work is looking at the end of round 6. So you were just placing 1 single crochet in every single stitch, so you should still have 12 stitches. Right, so we'll be moving on to round 7. Okay, so round 7 is an increase round, and what we'll be doing, how I hold it is I kind of flatten it. I thought I'll just show you this. So I flatten it a little bit so I can just go straight into stitch. Hold it whichever way you feel comfortable, but I thought I'll just show you quick. So in that first stitch is 1 single crochet, then in the next is 2 single crochet in the same stitch, and so I rotate and squidge like so. Then in the next stitch is 1, the following stitch 2. Sorry if that stitch marker's in the way. So that's 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Move over, and that's 1 in the next stitch, 2 in the following stitch. So just keep doing that all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end. So just like that, you should have 18 stitches at the end of this round. So you're placing 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet in every other stitch, well, every 2 stitches. And at the end you should have 18 stitches. So now we'll be moving on to round 8. Round 8 is a nice easy round of just placing 1 single crochet in each stitch. So I'll just make a start with you. So just placing single crochets in every single stitch for this whole round, like so. So I'll keep going and I'll meet you at the end of the round. Like so. So I've got 4 stitches left. So just place your single crochet, like so. So that's how your jaw should be looking. What we're going to do is seal your work. Just get my scissors and leave a tail, because we'll be sewing this jaw flat. And I'll just grab some yarn, cut it and pull it through. And how I seal is chain 1 and then you pull all the tail through. Pull that shut, remove that stitch marker, and that is how your jaw looks. And I will now show you how to sew it all up. Okay, so you get your jaw and get your darning needle or tapestry needle, whichever you like to call it, just a wide-eyed needle. So you thread that on, and what you do is you flatten your jaw nice and flat and just keep it nice and straight. And what you do is go into each stitch that's opposite the other stitch, so like so. So that's one side and the other side, so you go into each stitch of the opposite side and pull that through and go into the next stitch. So you keep doing that all the way across, sealing the 2 together. So you're just sealing the 2 sides together. Come on. There. Wouldn't go in. So, and go into that very last bit. Give it a bit of a wiggle. Like so. So there we go. And that's your jaw ready to be sewn onto the bottom of your head. So that's the top of your head there. So you can flatten that a little bit if you want. So what we'll be doing now is sewing your jaw along the bottom of your head. So what we're going to do is make sure it's all aligned where you want it to be. is I'll weave this tail in and that tail in, and also weave this tail that you use for sewing on, weave that in, but don't weave this tail in, the one that's part of your head, because we'll be reattaching our yarn onto this bit in a minute. So I will come back once I've weaved in the ends, apart from this one. Remember, do not weave this one in, because we will be reattaching our working yarn to that in just a minute. Okay, so I've weaved in all my ends now, apart from the tail that we'll be reattaching in a second. So this is how my work is looking like. So just making sure the jaw is securely sewn on to the head. So just making sure you go into every stitch and also go on the ends, on the edges there. So it just makes it nice and secure and straight. Okay, so now what we'll be doing is reattaching our wool or yarn to the tail. Attach it whichever way you're comfortable. I like crossing them over like so, then they kind of go opposite or other way around like that, and then with this tail knot it, pull so tight, just a little bit, then with this tail do exactly the same and pull, so they're like that, and then pull tight and pull tight. I know people knot differently, but I like this way, so just make sure it's nicely tight, so it's not going to come undone with these extra bits there. Leave a bit like an inch or something just where my nail is, and cut them down. Just attach it whichever way you're happy. Hopefully this will end up inside, but we will sort that out if we have to. Okay, so attach it whichever way you want to. Might trim them down a little bit more, just a little bit. There. Okay, so I've attached my wool again, and now we'll be carrying on with the pattern.